All right, let's dig into one of the most powerful final speeches in all of history, the Song of Moses from Deuteronomy 32. And let me tell you, this is way more than just an old poem. It's actually a legal drama of cosmic proportions.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if a song was specifically designed to stand up in court and testify against the very people it was written for? Well, that's exactly what we're looking at. This isn't just ancient history. It's a theological masterpiece set up like a gripping courtroom battle.
So you have to picture this. Moses is about to leave his people for good. But his last words? They aren't some gentle, nostalgic farewell. Oh no. He delivers this stunning theological and legal statement that's meant to echo through the ages, basically serving as a permanent witness to the deal made between God and Israel.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. See, what scholars have figured out is that the song isn't just randomly put together. It follows a formal legal pattern from the ancient world called a covenant lawsuit, or rib in Hebrew. This whole thing is basically framed as a legal proceeding in a cosmic courtroom.
Think of it like this. Back in the day, huge empires like the Hittites had these really formal treaty structures. If a smaller kingdom broke the treaty, the emperor would literally start a legal case against them. The Song of Moses uses that exact same format, but here, the sovereign is God, the vassal is Israel, and, the stakes are eternal.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Who exactly are the players in this cosmic courtroom, and what does this whole legal process actually look like?
I mean, the scale here is just immense. The plaintiff, the one bringing the charges, is God, and the judge is also God. The defendant is the entire nation of Israel. But look at the witnesses. Moses calls on heaven and earth, the silent, eternal observers of everything that's ever happened between God and his people. It's just so dramatic.
And the process itself is crystal clear. Step 1, you summon the witnesses. Step 2, the prosecution lays out its case by going through all the history, all the evidence. Step 3, the verdict is announced. And then, step 4, in this incredible turn of events, there's an offer of redemption. This is basically our roadmap for the whole song. So let's see how this whole thing builds. The trial kicks off with the prosecution presenting its evidence. But here's the thing. Instead of starting with all the failures, it starts by remembering God's incredible, unwavering care for Israel. The scene is set in the desert, which the song calls a barren and howling waste. And that location is so important. It represents total vulnerability, a place where you just can't survive without a protector. And it's right there, in that impossible place, that God finds and adopts Israel. And the language here is just so intimate. The apple of his eye. That literally refers to the pupil. The most sensitive, vital part of your eye that you instinctively protect above everything else. It's this powerful way of saying just how precious Israel was to God. This imagery, wow, it is just perfect. An eagle teaches its young to fly by, kicking them out of the comfortable nest. But it never ever lets them fall. It swoops down and catches them on its wings. This captures their whole relationship. God pushes Israel to grow, to leave the comfort zone of Egypt, but he is always right there to catch them when they falter. So, after laying out this powerful case for his own faithfulness, the song just takes this sharp, dramatic turn. The whole tone shifts from care to accusation. The charge is about to be read. And here's the crucial point. It wasn't hardship that caused Israel to stray. It was prosperity. The song even uses the name Jeshurun, which means the upright one, but it's almost sarcastic here. As soon as they were well-fed and secure, they grew fat and kicked, forgetting the very God who gave them everything in the first place. This contrast right here gets the absolute heart of their betrayal. The song uses this powerful metaphor of a rock. On one side, you have God, the true rock. He's perfect, just, faithful, the rock of salvation. And on the other side, the idols they turn to. Worthless, unproven, foreign, false rocks that offered no real foundation at all. So, the evidence has been presented. The charges are laid out in stark detail. The difference between God's faithfulness and Israel's unfaithfulness is, it's undeniable. Now, it's time for the verdict. I mean, based on all the evidence, the outcome seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? Israel is guilty of breaking the covenant. The only logical verdict has to be judgment, punishment, maybe even total destruction for their rebellion. But then comes the twist. God declares that the false rocks of the other nations are nothing compared to him. And when he says vengeance is mine, it's not just aimed at Israel anymore. It's this huge declaration of his ultimate authority over all nations and their so-called gods.
And this is the key. God's ultimate reason for not wiping Israel off the map isn't really about them. It's about his own reputation. See, if Israel's enemies won completely, they just boast that their worthless idols had defeated the God of Israel. So to defend his own name and prove that he's the only real God, he has to ultimately act to save his people. His mercy is rooted in his own honor.
So this ancient cosmic court case, it's not just some closed file collecting dust. For thousands of years, different traditions have basically acted like jurors, looking at the same evidence and coming to different conclusions about what it all means for us today.
And you can kind of see the different jury verdicts right here. For instance, many evangelicals look at this and focus on God's absolute sovereignty and grace. The fact that mercy wins out shows his ultimate power, and maybe even hints at a plan for all people, not just Israel. Then you have scholars using a more historical lens. They're like forensic investigators, examining how the poem was written over time and what its language tells us about how Israel's understanding of God changed. And finally, Catholic tradition often reads this song as a timeless spiritual lesson, a powerful warning against materialism that's just as relevant today as it was back then.
Now let's bring it back to that central image one last time, the rock. The song accuses Israel with these words, "You forgot the rock that bore you." What a powerful way to talk about forgetting your very origin, your source of life. And then fast forward hundreds of years, and you have New Testament writers picking up this exact same imagery and doing something stunning with it. The Apostle Paul writes that the Israelites in the desert were sustained by a spiritual rock, and then he just says it flatly, and the rock was Christ. It's this incredible connection, tying the whole story directly to the Christian message, seeing Christ as the ultimate, life-giving, faithful rock.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The central warning of this ancient song is that comfort and prosperity can make us forget our true source of life. And it kind of begs the question for all of us today, when we feel successful, secure, and like we've got it all handled, what are the false rocks we lean on? And have we too forgotten the one that truly sustains us?